Honorable members, in this new year, full of aspirations and hope, I welcome you to the joint sitting of the two houses of the Parliament with the belief that your deliberations will be productive and useful. Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee had said, and I quote, "The greatest strength of India is her rich spiritual and civilizational heritage," unquote. The core values of our civilization emphasize universal good, welfare of all human beings. The fundamental tenet of my government is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, all together development of all. Within a span of 9 months, my government has articulated and embarked on a comprehensive strategy for unleashing the full potential of our economy and its precious resource of 125 crore people. Measures have been initiated to stir action in a range of fields, from sanitation to smart cities, poverty elimination to creation of wealth, skill development to conquering space, tapping demographic dividend to diplomatic initiatives, enhancing ease of doing business to putting in place a stable policy framework, empowering individuals to ensuring quality infrastructure, ending financial untouchability, to making the country a manufacturing hub, containing inflation, to stimulating economy, igniting minds, to ensuring inclusive growth, promoting cooperative federalism, to encouraging a competitive spirit among the states. A strong beginning has been made. A promising future awaits us. Honorable members, poverty is a bane to dignified human existence. Development is actualized only when the last person gets a sense of fulfillment, especially regarding his minimum needs. Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay had laid emphasis on holistic development of each and every human being. Ekatma Manvata Darshan, my government is placed to work for the welfare of the poor, the marginalized, and the vulnerable sections of the society. Financial inclusion is critical to poverty elimination. My government launched an ambitious Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana to provide universal access to banking facilities, a bank account having inbuilt accidental insurance with a RuPay debit card. I am happy to state that the coverage under this scheme is close to 100%, with a record 13.2 crore new bank accounts being opened, 11.5 crores RuPay debit cards being issued, and over rupees 11,000 crore being deposited. The unprecedented target was achieved in less than 6 months, making it the largest such program globally. To ensure that the benefits of development programs reach the last intended beneficiary without leakages and impediments, direct benefit transfer program is being implemented with renewed vigor. The biggest direct cash transfer program in the world, PAHAL, for transfer of LPG subsidy, has been extended across the country from 1st January 2015. So far, covering 75% of the user households. In all, 35 schemes have been brought under direct benefit transfer architecture. Special emphasis is attached to make other entitlement coverage universal. Honorable members, Swachhta is an article of faith for my government. Swachhta will have an overarching impact on the overall quality of life and well-being of a person, particularly the poor. Swachh Bharat mission has been launched to achieve a clean and open defecation-free India by October 2019. Government has rolled out Swachh Vidyalaya program and is committed to construct a toilet in every school before 15th August 2015. Swachhata has a cascading impact on national development and the potential to generate wealth from waste. Sanitation and the idea of Swachhata require changing the mindset of the people. My government exhorts each and every individual to be an active participant in this mission. I appeal to all honorable members of Parliament to spend at least 50% of their MPLADS funds on Swachh Bharat mission. Honorable members, India lives in our village. My government attaches the highest priority to sustainable socio-economic growth of rural areas. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme can be a powerful weapon to combat rural poverty. While implementing Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme with renewed vigor, emphasis is being placed on improving quality and durability of assets under the program. Besides, mandating that at least 60% of expenditure be directed for creation of agricultural infrastructure. In keeping with my government's focus on Skill India, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana and Deen Dayal Upadhyay Antoday Yojana have been announced. Sanshad Adarsh Gram Yojana, launched in October 2014, focuses on integrated and holistic development of our villages with active involvement of members of Parliament. Housing is a fundamental requirement for dignified living. My government is steadfast in fulfilling the aspirations of all households, particularly the poorest of the poor, to have a dwelling unit under the mission of housing for all by 2022, marking 75 years of our independence. A set of fiscal and non-fiscal incentives have been devised to leverage the value of land holding with government and to afford flexibility to state governments in designating their own customized housing programs. To aid investment in housing sectors, my government has liberalized FDI policy, increased tax incentives for housing loans, and enhanced the corpus of National Housing Bank. Honorable members, my government attaches paramount importance to safeguard the interests of farmers and families affected by land acquisition, while taking utmost care to protect the interest of farmers, including their compensation entitlements. the right to fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act has been suitably refined to minimize certain procedural difficulties in acquisition of land, inevitably required for critical public projects of infrastructure and for creation of basic amenities like rural housing, schools, hospitals, particularly in remote areas. Honorable members, Kishan is the sentinel of our food security. Annadata Sukhi Bhavo have been one of our fundamental civilizational values. My government attaches enormous importance to the well-being of farmers. This will need value-added agriculture, market reform, use of technology, and improving productivity in areas with untapped potential. The year 2015 has been designated as International Year of Soils. In view of the critical role of soil for productivity and farm output, a soil health card scheme has been launched. Price Stabilization Fund with a corpus of Rs 500 crore has been set up to perishable commodities to address the irrigation requirements of every village in an effective and sustainable manner. Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana is being launched. Extensions programs have been devised targeting resource poor, small and marginal farmers, particularly focusing on organic farming and greenhouse technology. Rashtriya Gokul Mission has been launched with the objective of conserving and developing indigenous cattle breeds. Honorable members, food processing has immense potential in generating employment in the rural areas, particularly in the landless poor, besides guaranteeing remunerative price for the farm produce. Creating infrastructure in rural areas to minimize supply chain losses is a priority. A special fund of Rs 2,000 crores to provide affordable credit to the units in 72 notified food parks has been made operational. 2 mega food parks at Tumkur and Fazilka, each to provide direct, indirect employment to 30,000 people, have been commissioned in the last 6 months. Former Prime Minister Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee had said, and I quote, "Poverty has multiple effects. Besides impacting our economy, it corrodes our democracy," unquote. Inclusive growth, covering the poorest of the poor from the most vulnerable and disadvantaged sections of our society, is my government's topmost priority. Thrust has been given to streamlining the scholarship schemes for students from SC, ST, OBC, and minority communities to ensure timely disbursement to the beneficiaries. Government has set up a new venture capital fund for SC entrepreneurs to upgrade skill and training in traditional arts, crafts of minorities. A new scheme upgrading the skill and training in traditional arts, crafts for development, Ustad, is being launched. Outcome-based integrated approach has been adopted for tribal development under the Ban Bandhu Kalyan Yojana. Nanaji Deshmukh scheme is being launched for construction of hostels for denotified, nomadic and semi-nomadic tribes. Honorable members, education is the priority of priorities for my government. Padhe Bharat, Bade Bharat has been launched to improve foundational learning outcomes. an initiative to map the entire country on a GIS platform to identify habitations without schools has been taken. Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teachers Training has been launched to empower and increase the capacity of teachers. The Rashtriya Aviskar Abhiyan has been announced to imbibe scientific temper among students to ensure access to education in the remotest areas. Ishan Vikas and Ishan Uday schemes have been started with focus on students of northeastern region. My government has formulated national sports talent search schemes for encouraging sporting talent amongst children in the age group of 8 to 12 through National Sports Development Fund and target Olympic podium. Honorable members, India has the largest population of youth in the world. Majority of our population is already in the working age group. To tap this demographic dividend and to bridge the demand-supply gap in skilled workforce, my government has created a new Ministry of the Skill Development and Entrepreneurship with the theme, Hunar Hai to Kalyan Hai. A new national policy for school development and entrepreneurship is on the anvil to align skilling initiatives with global standards. Focus will be on youth from deprived households in rural areas. Public-private partnership is being fostered to create skill development models and channelizes CSR funds into skilling activities. Honorable members, my government is committed to providing affordable and accessible health care to all its citizens, particularly the vulnerable sections, in an efficient and equitable manner. To reduce preventable deaths, India Newborn Action Plan has been initiated and 4 new vaccines have been approved. Mission Indradhanush has been launched to achieve universal immunization with special focus on 184 high-priority districts across the country. To create an inclusive, enabling, and empowering environment for persons with disability, my government has launched new scholarship schemes for students with disabilities. A national helpline with toll-free numbers has been launched for those who need help against drug de-addiction and for rehabilitation. My government has recently elevated the erstwhile Department of Ayush to a full-fledged ministry with an objective to increase the global and local footprint in the traditional system of healthcare, duly recognized that our villages have been repositories of our rich Ayurvedic heritage. National Ayush Mission has been launched to promote cost-effective Ayush services, strengthen the education system, and facilitate availability of quality Ayush drugs. Honorable members, women have had a place of reverence in our society since time immemorial. My government has taken several measures to empower and protect the dignity of women, to provide complete support to women affected by violence. One-stop crisis centers, one in every state, are being set up for provision of integrated services, including medical aid, police assistance, temporary shelter, and legal and psychosocial counseling. Another initiative has been the launch of Himmat, a mobile-based application to ensure women's safety in Delhi. Honorable members, the unabated decline in child sex ratio since 1961 is a matter of grave concern. This trend has to be reversed to ensure survival, protection, and education of the girl child. My government has launched Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao Abhijan, which seeks to change mindsets to celebrate the girl child. A new small savings scheme, Sukanya Smriddhi account, has been notified for enabling the education of the girl child. A bill to amend Juvenile Justice Act has been introduced in Parliament to reform the law relating to juvenile offences. Honorable members, Shramik is the backbone of our economy. My government believes in Shram Eva Jayati and has taken several labor welfare measures. Apprentice Protsahan Yojana has been launched to promote apprentices in micro, small and medium enterprises in manufacturing sector. EPF subscriptions have been made portable, benefiting casual workers in the unorganized sector. Under the Employees Provident Fund Act, the statutory wage ceiling and the minimum pension have been enhanced to rupees 15,000 and rupees 1,000 respectively. While my government is fully committed to expand the job market and to promote the welfare of workers, it is also committed to bringing in transparency and accountability in enforcement of labor-related regulations. To this end, Shram Subidha portal has been launched to ensure ease of doing business by allowing industry to register online and file a simple online return instead of 16 separate returns. A transparent online inspection schemes has been launched. Recent amendments to the Apprentices Act 1961 have made the legal framework friendly to both industry and employable youths. Honorable members, legal reform is one of the priorities of my government. My government believes that governance and reforms are combined effort of Team India consisting of Parliament, Union government, state legislatures, state governments, and the people of India. An example of this collaborative effort is the reform in the process of appointment of judges to the High Courts and Supreme Court, and the legislation to set up National Judicial Appointments Commission. The government is also committed to repeal the obsolete and redundant laws. A committee constituted for this purpose has identified 1,741 central acts for repeal under various categories. Honorable members, maximum governance, minimum government is the guiding principle of my government, with an aim to take governance to the doorsteps of the poorest of the poor in remotest areas. Focus is on simplification of official procedures and reducing the decision-making levels in government by leveraging technology. The system of group of ministers has been dispensed with, and emphasis is on swift decision-making, while introducing stricter and sterner measures to deal with corruption. Effort is being made to ensure that sufficient safeguards are in place to protect bona fide decisions taken in public interest and to inspire confidence in the civil service. My government is finally committed to engage people in the process of governance and policy making. MyGov online platform, a path-breaking initiative, has been launched. This platform has ensured public participation in decision-making and ideation of various national flagships programs like Swachh Bharat Mission, Namami Gange, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, and Niti Aayog. My government has envisioned an ambitious umbrella program, Digital India, to prepare India for technology-based transformation and citizen-centric, transparent governance with service orientation. Aadhaar-based attendance system and Jivan Praman, Aadhaar-based digital life certificate portal have shown that innovative use of technology can make enormous difference. Measures are being taken to accomplish digital inclusion in rural areas, small towns, northeast, and other remote areas, opening up immense job opportunities in these areas. Promoting manufacturing of electronic goods has been an area of thrust. My government is placed to decentralization of power, and as an important step in this direction, the Planning Commission has been replaced with a new body, the National Institute for Transforming India, Niti Aayog. The underlying spirit of Niti Aayog is to foster the spirit of cooperative federalism so that union and state governments can come on a platform to forge a common national agenda for development with thrust on empowering the impoverished. Honorable members, as a result of my government's sustained efforts and series of policy initiatives, our economy is again on the high growth trajectory. According to the latest estimates, our GDP is growing at 7.4%, which makes India the fastest growing large economy in the world. Inflation and food inflation in particular are at record low due to number of decisive measures taken by my governments. Fixed capital formation, which faced a near stagnation in the last few years, has increased. Capital markets are upbeat. Our external sector is now far more resilient, particularly with a moderate current account deficit and a broadly stable rupee. Our foreign exchange reserves have been substantially augmented. While my government has intensified efforts to bring greater efficiency and equity into the tax system, prudence on expenditure management is also high on the agenda of my government. A constitutional amendment bill has been introduced to bring in goods and service tax that will simplify the indirect tax regime, broaden the tax base, and result in better tax compliance. Honorable members, my government is committed to taking all possible measures to stop generation of black money, both domestically and internationally. These measures include putting in place robust legislative and administrative frameworks, systems and process with due focus on capacity building, integration of information through technology, and the fast-tracking prosecution. Financial sector institutional restructuring is a priority area. My government will expedite implementation of the recommendations of the Financial Sector Legislative Reforms Commission. SEBI's new foreign portfolio investment regulation have established a unified, simple regulatory framework. The Insurance Laws Amendment Ordinance 2014 has promulgated enhancing the foreign equity cap from 26% to 49%. while safeguarding Indian ownership and control. This will enhance capital availability and ensure better access to insurance services, especially in rural areas for economically weaker sections. Small banks and payments bank are being permitted to expand the reach of the banking system. Honorable members, my government has taken major initiative for improving ease of doing business through simplification and rationalization of existing rules and procedures, leveraging IT and use of modern technologies is a key strategy. Single window in hub-spoke model is being made a reality. Applying for industrial license and industrial entrepreneur memorandum can now be done online on 24/7 basis on the eBeej website. A number of entry and exit regulations have been eased out. My government has launched the Make in India program, which aims to create a wholesome ecosystem to transform India into a manufacturing hub. FDI in railways has been opened up selectively to bring in much needed capital, state-of-the-art technology, and global best practices. FDI in defense has been increased to 49%, subject to certain conditions. FDI norms in constructions and development sector have been relaxed. Continuous evaluation of inverted duties is being undertaken to make Indian industries competitive. Stress is being laid on research and innovation while focusing our attention on manufacturing for creating more jobs. My government will continue to work on our formidable strength in the service sector. Honorable governments, my government is committed to realize the true potential of entrepreneurs in India by nurturing MSME sector. 21 MSME clusters are being supported by providing soft skills and common facilities through 965 interventions. Khadi and village industries and traditional industries clusters are initiated in border, hill, and poverty-stricken areas of the country. Focus is on technology upgradation, better financial access, and market linkage to MSME units. Textile sector is the second largest employer after agriculture, providing direct employment of over 4.5 crore people. The sector also contributes 1/7 of industrial production and brings more than 1/4 of the country's foreign exchange inflows. The growth and all-round development of this sector has a direct bearing on the improvement of our economy, particularly the poor artisans. Recent initiatives like setting up a trade facilitation centers in different parts of India, bringing textile marketing online, incentives for technical textiles, promotion of Pashmina, special focus on increasing the coverage of northeastern part of the country would lead to advancement of this sector. Honorable members, cities are the engines of economic growth. My government is committed to building modern amenities and infrastructure in our urban areas. The National Urban Development Mission is being finalized, particularly focusing on water and solid waste management infrastructure. After extensive stakeholder consultation, the Smart City programs is close to finalization. These two programs are interlinked and will prepare our nation for an increasingly urban future. Honorable members, robust infrastructure is critical for ascertaining economic development and reviving economic growth. Indian railways are the arteries of our economy. My government is committed to reform and infuse new vitality into the sector through better services, improved passenger safety, and increased movement of freight. Two dedicated freight corridors, namely Eastern DFC and Western DFC, are likely to be commissioned by 2019. Action for conducting feasibility studies for the Diamond Quadrilateral project of high-speed trains connecting Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and Kolkata has been taken up. Metro rail projects have been sanctioned for Ahmedabad and Nagpur. Honorable members, several policy initiatives to revive the highway sector have been taken. National Highways Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited has been set up for creation of infrastructure in the northeastern states and border regions of the country. New standards have been set to improve quality of roads, both on highways and in the rural areas, and electronic tolling has been introduced for hassle-free traffic on selected highways. E-rickshaws and e-cart have been introduced as a separate category under the Motor Vehicle Act 1988, enhancing convenience of passengers and generating thousands of jobs. My government has taken proactive steps to promote shipping industry. These include giving lifetime licenses to Indian ships, allowing Indian ships to flag out of countries' waters freely, reduction of excise duty on the bunker fuel, and reduction of customs duty on the steel scrap of ship breaking. Government has also formulated Sagarmala projects to promote port-led development of the coastal regions and communities as part of Make in India, initiating ship designing capabilities, ship building and ship repair activities will be strengthened. An environment is being created to increase the Indian shipping tonnage and to reduce the transaction time on ports. An institutional arrangement for comprehensive development of national waterways for transportation has been envisaged through the Jalmarg Vikas project. Honorable members, power sector has made commendable progress, achieving 76% capacity addition by January 2015 against the 2014-15 target of 17,830 megawatt. In order to provide 24/7 quality power in rural and urban areas, the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, with an outlay of more than Rs 43,000 crore, and the Integrated Power Development Scheme, with an outlay of more than Rs 32,600 crore, have been launched. Special attention is being paid to the unelectrified villages in remote areas. My government has started major projects for improving transmission and distribution systems in the northeastern states. We all focus on developing and strengthening the national grid by developing high-capacity power corridors. To deepen the reforms in the electricity sector, the Electricity Amendment Bill 2014 has been introduced. The ambitious National Smart Grid Mission and Energy Saving Scheme have been started. My government has enormous emphasis on clean energy. The share of renewable energy in electricity generation is being significantly enhanced from 6% to 15% of the energy mix in the next 7 years. The scheme for setting up 25 mega solar parks has been approved. The implementation of the Green Energy Corridor scheme has been accelerated. Setting up of solar generating capacities along the international borders will be a key area of attention. My government has made successful efforts in attracting the global investors in this sector. Similar attention is being paid to biomass, hydroenergy. Government will further expand India's nuclear power capacity with the highest global standards of safety and technological standards. Honorable members, the petroleum sector has seen major reforms. Diesel prices have been deregulated and are now market-driven. The price of petrol has been decreased by more than rupees 17 per litre. The government has put to rest all speculations regarding the long pending issue of revising gas prices and put in place a prudent policy in national interest. The ethanol policy has been revised to promote use of ethanol in petrol and help sugarcane farmers. My government is committed to optimize utilization and transparency in allocation of natural resources. The process for auction of coal blocks has been started in a manner which will reduce the power costs in the country, provide adequate fuel to increase power generation, enhance production of steel, cement, aluminium, and other essential materials. This will also provide huge resources from allotment of mines to the mineral and coal-bearing states, particularly in eastern areas, for accelerated development of the region. The swift and timely action taken by my government in this regard prevented the closure of mines which otherwise would have rendered thousands jobless. In coming years, my government would make focused efforts to expand exploration capacity and to increase domestic coal production to 1,000 million ton per annum. Honorable members, water is the lifeline of human civilization. River Ganga has a very special place in the collective consciousness of our country. Namami Gange, an integrated Ganga conservation mission, has been set up with budgetary allocation of more than rupees 2,000 crore. The government is fully committed to the implementation of interlinking of river projects with due consultation process. My government took several proactive steps for protecting wildlife and for promoting cleaner environment. Stringent emission norms for certain industries were prescribed. Real-time online monitoring of industrial units in 17 critically polluting sectors was started and National Air Quality Index launched. Compensatory afforestation fund management and planning authority would be strengthened and adequate funds released to states and union territories for aggressive afforestation and wildlife protection. Government has taken significant steps to streamline clearance process in environmental sector by bringing in transparency and by empowering state governments. Online application process for environment, forest, and CRZ clearance were introduced from July 2014. Honorable members, the enormous potential of the tourism sector, a new tourist policy for growth and sustainability of tourism is on the anvil. Tourist visa on arrival, enabled with electronic travel authorization, has been expanded to 44 countries. Infrastructure and amenities are being upgraded in major tourist and pilgrimage destinations. River ghats in several pilgrim destinations are being renovated. A special initiative for protecting and preserving the sanctity of our tourist destinations and monuments of national heritage has been launched. Dedicated tourist trains covering Jyotirling circuits, Sukhmangal circuits, and Dakshin Dham circuit have been started. A new scheme has been launched for development of tourist circuits called Swadesh Darshan, which includes Krishna Circuit, Himalayan Circuit, Coastal Circuit, Buddha Circuit, and Northeast Circuit. A statue of unity is being constructed to commemorate the memory of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Honorable members, my government is committed to restore and rejuvenate the soul of cities that are home to rich cultural heritage of our country. A scheme, Heritage Development and Augmentation Yojana, Hridoy, covering 12 cities in the first phase, has been launched with the predominant objective of preserving the tangible and intangible cultural assets of these cities. A special scheme called Prasad, Pilgrimage Rejuvenation and Spiritual Augmentation Drive, has been announced for rejuvenation of 12 pilgrim centers in convergence with Hridoy. Honorable members, terrorism and left-wing extremism pose a grave challenge to the internal security of our nation. My government is firmly committed to deal with these challenges in cohesive collaboration with the affected people and governments of the affected states in a holistic manner. Jammu and Kashmir occupies a place of enormous importance in the agenda of my government. Government has endeavored to create a conducive and enabling environment in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, especially for the various displaced segments of its population. This includes facilitating the rehabilitation of over 60,000 Kashmiri Pandit families. The government has taken effective steps in this regard. These include, inter alia, providing government jobs, economic opportunities, and security. During the recent unprecedented flood situation in the state, my government made special efforts in collaboration with the state government to minimize the impact of the disaster and augment rehabilitation measures. The nation is deeply indebted to our armed forces and paramilitary forces for the outstanding service rendered during the relief operations to flood-affected people in Jammu and Kashmir. A high state of disaster preparedness is the key to contain loss of life and damage to the property due to any natural disaster. This has been amply demonstrated during the response to the very severe cyclone Hudhud by the state governments of Andhra Pradesh and Odisha together with the central government. Honorable members, my government is committed to implement the idea of smart police to provide efficient, courteous, and effective citizen services and meet the operational needs of the police personnel, including women police personnel. Government is accelerating modernization of our armed forces with a strong emphasis on Make in India in defense acquisition plans. Several initiatives have been taken to expand domestic defense industry, including liberalization of FDI for the defense sector, a new defense export strategy, a liberalized process for issuing clearance for defense exports, and a technology development fund to encourage domestic manufacturing of defense equipments and decrease import dependency. The list of defense items which requires industrial licensing has been pruned. Honorable members, our space journey continues to make impressive progress. On 24th September 2014, Mongolian has successfully placed in the Mars orbit, making India the first country to do so in the first attempt. We successfully launched the first experimental flight of GSLV Mark III on 19th December 2014, which will enable us to launch heavier satellites in the near future. My government is committed to use space technology and its applications in governance, social and economic development, and resource management. My government has also decided to launch a satellite for the use of SAARC countries to foster greater partnership and development of South Asian region. My government is committed to deeper penetration of electronic media in remote and distant areas. Auctions will be conducted for 135 vacant channels in 69 existing cities of FM Phase 2 as part of the first batch of FM Phase 3. It will also facilitate migration of FM Phase 2 to FM Phase 3. This will take private FM radio to cities having population of more than 1 lakh and border towns of Jammu and Kashmir, northeastern region, and island territories in a phased manner. Our developmental challenge will continue to shape these strategic priorities in science, technology, and innovation. Steps are being taken to channelize more resources in research and development in India, build world-class research centers, nurture young talent, and promote international collaboration, including in the world's largest optical 30-meter telescope. Honorable members, recognizing that our destiny is linked with our neighborhood, my government has reinvigorated our relations with our neighbors and is promoting a greater cooperation and integration in South Asia. At the same time, we speak clearly about our interests and are fully prepared to defend our borders and secure our people. With the visit of Chinese President Xi Jinping, we have significantly expanded our relations with our largest neighbor, China, based on mutual respect and sensitivity to each other's concerns and interests. We have restored confidence and momentum in our time-tested strategic partnership with Russia with President Vladimir Putin's visit. The historic visit of US President Barack Obama as the chief guest of the Republic Day has elevated our relations with the United States to a new level. In the coming months, we intend to further deepen our cooperation with Europe. With Japan, a deeper political, economic, and security relationship is at the forefront of a more active and purposeful Act East policy, which is anchored in our relations with Southeast Asia and now extends to Australia and the Pacific Islands. We are also committed to deeper engagement with West Asia, Central Asia, Africa, and South America. My government will continue to work with others to reform multilateral institutions, including the United Nations, and seek India's rightful place in these institutions. We will also participate actively in regional and international groupings. Honorable members, my government's efforts have enhanced global recognition for India's rich cultural heritage and traditions. On 11th December 2014, the United Nations, with a record co-sponsorship of 177 out of 193 member countries, took the historic decision to declare 21st June as International Yoga Day, exactly within 75 days of Prime Minister's call at the United Nations General Assembly. My government has made an unprecedented effort to reach out to the Indian community abroad, which today not only feels more connected to India, but has responded enthusiastically to the call to participate in India's transformation, inspired by Mahatma Gandhi, whose 100th anniversary of return to India was commemorated at this year's Prabasi Bharatiya Divas. Our decisions on PIO and OCI cardholders have been widely welcomed by the Indian community abroad. Honorable members, our Parliament is the sanctum sanctorum of democracy. The people of India, particularly the poorest of the poor, in remotest areas, have reposed unflinching faith in this institution for fulfillment of their hopes and expectations. My government will constantly endeavor for smooth conduct of legislative business and enactment of progressive laws in the Parliament, which reflects the will and aspirations of the people. I urge all members of the Parliament to discharge their solemn responsibility in a spirit of cooperation and mutual accommodation. By channelizing the patriotic energies of every citizen, we will collectively must work towards building a strong and modern India. Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat, Jai Hind.
आदरणीय राष्ट्रपति जी, आपने यहाँ अभी संसद के संयुक्त अधिवेशन में अभिभाषण किया है। आपकी अनुमति से मैं अभिभाषण के हिंदी पाठ के आरंभ और अंत के अंश पढ़ता हूँ। कृपया शेष पढ़ा हुआ मान लिया जाए। माननीय सदस्यगण, मैं आशा और आकांक्षाओं से भरपूर इस नव वर्ष में संसद के दोनों सदनों के संयुक्त सत्र में आपका स्वागत करता हूं। मेरा विश्वास है कि आपकी चर्चा सार्थक और उपयोगी होगी। हमारी संसद लोकतंत्र का परम पावन स्थल है। भारत के लोगों, विशेषकर दूरवर्ती क्षेत्रों के अत्यधिक निर्धन लोगों ने अपनी आशाओं और आकांक्षाओं को पूरा करने के लिए इस संस्था में अटूट विश्वास दिखाया है। मेरी सरकार सुचारू विधायी कार्य संचालित करने और संसद में ऐसे प्रगतिशील कानूनों को बनाने के लिए निरंतर प्रयत्नशील रहेगी, जो लोगों की इच्छा एवं आकांक्षा को दर्शाते हैं। मैं संसद के सभी सदस्यों से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वे सहयोग और आपसी सद्भावना के साथ अपने उत्तरदायित्वों को निर्वहन करें। प्रत्येक नागरिक की देश प्रेम की शक्ति से हम सबको एकजुट होकर एक सशक्त और आधुनिक भारत में निर्माण हेतु कार्य करना चाहिए। एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत। जय हिंद।
तो आप देख रहे हैं संसद भवन के केंद्रीय कक्ष से सीधी तस्वीरें। अब से कुछ देर पहले आपने सुना राष्ट्रपति प्रणब मुखर्जी को, जो दोनों सदनों के सांसदों को संबोधित कर रहे थे। बजट सत्र का आज पहला दिन है।